Welcome to another episode of the Cowboy Experience. I'm Eric Sims, your CX Cowboy, and today we're sitting up here at Lake Travis, and we're going to do a very special episode for you, just taking a look at reviewing 2024 and all the great things and people and places that we got to visit and meet in that awesome year, and also taking a look at what's going to be next in 2025 for us. And so come along for the ride. We'd love to walk through this with you. So before we revisit 2024, I think it's important that we go back and talk a little bit about how the show started and why we even do this. And so a little background on myself and how we got to this place. So, I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. I was born and raised there, lived there in the DFW area for 33 years before I moved off. So I had the typical Texas, North Texas upbringing. Loved Texas, loved being here, had a lot of good friends and family all in the state. And at age 33, moved to Tampa, Florida, and took some time out there and spent about 16 years in Tampa. And, the short version is this, we moved back to Texas at the beginning of 2024, end of 2023, beginning of 2024. And it's one of those things that I really think it's you don't realize what you've got until it's gone type of scenario for me. There was a lot of stuff with Texas that I think I just took for granted growing up here that seemed like the normal stuff, just like how people are, the food that we eat, the places that we go, the music that we listen to, the way that we approach life, our belief system around all that. And so living elsewhere for a little bit, even though that place was awesome and the people that were there were awesome, was different. And then coming back and being reintroduced to Texas just rekindled my passion because I was able to have a fresh look at how we do things here and the way we operate in business and the way that we do the arts and the way that we do food and the way that we do land and oil and all the different things that this great state has to offer. And so as I rekindled that relationship with Texas, it flamed a huge fire for me that really created a romance with the state and rekindled kind of a romance that I had as a small child with cowboys and what we do here in Texas and all the great things that we have here in the Lone Star State. And so out of that, with our friends that you're going to meet later on here, we decided, hey, we should really do a show about this great place and all the people that are in it and the things that we have to offer and try to highlight what's going on in all these cool areas, because Texas is a diverse place with a lot of diversity in people, but also in just culture when you look at how the place is set up. And then there's a lot of diversity in just the land and the types of foods and the types of things that we do. And so being able to just travel around and highlight those amazing things on this show and be able to share those with people that may or may not live in the state or may not live in those areas and be aware of those things. And also highlight the great stories that are behind the people that we're getting to meet that are doing these awesome things in these awesome places. So that's really the way the show started, was how do we create something that exposes everybody else to this awesome place that we are so in love with. All right, so as we dive back into 2024, I just shared a little bit about, how this show came about from my seat. But one of the more interesting things to me too is obviously I'm not the only person that's involved with this show. We've got a team of people that bring this all together each week for us. And so I wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to have them on, because typically they're behind the scenes. You guys don't get to see them or meet them and hear their side of things and what they do. So today we've got Geo and Phoebe who handle everything for the show behind the scenes. Phoebe's the real boss. Geo's our artistic genius when it comes to getting all this stuff filmed, and Phoebe coordinates all the locations and things like that. But wanted to get a chance for everybody to get to meet them and hear their side of things. So maybe you guys introduce yourselves real quick and say hi to our followers.
I'll let Phoebe go ahead.
Sure. Howdy, y'all. I'm Phoebe, and as Eric mentioned, I do a lot of the coordination behind the scenes, and definitely better behind the camera than I am in front of it. So, Geo, you go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm Geo, and I'm the guy usually behind the camera making Eric look pretty most of the time.
That's a hard job.
And so we're excited to kind of recap this year and excited to share our memories that we have and where is the show going. So I'm excited to dive into that.
Cool. So as we do that, I'll start with Phoebe because ladies first, right? Phoebe, what's your first memory of the show? When we first started the stuff?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess the first thing I remember is just you and I having a conversation about wanting to start a show. And I thought that was so cool. Kind of on the back burner for me, I've always wanted to be involved in something like this. When I was a kid, I used to crack jokes and whatnot with my friends, and we'd come up with funny commercials or TV shows on our own. And then it just never really turned into anything, and life went a different way. But I've always had that in the back of my head. And so when you said that, it kind of sparked for me like, hell yeah, I'd love to be a part of something like this. So just getting the ball rolling and then setting up our very first episode we had with Double R Hats. Nate and Espy, shout out. You guys were awesome on the show. And that was the start of it all. Since then, we just have kept it going, and I think it's been a ton of fun.
Yeah, I think I was excited to get started on the show. I think, being a part of Texas, I think it's really, um, there's a sense of Texas pride for the people that have lived here for a long time or have been born here. I think um, when you came with us with the idea of like, hey, we want to share more about Texas to other people who don't experience it as much or don't live here, I think was an excellent um, idea to start, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Cool. Well, as a little background, both these two weren't just sitting around at the coffee shop. Like they had a media company. They had been filming and doing other stuff with commercials and other accounts and film and photography, and had a background and also in Western dancing instruction at one point in time too. So their love and interaction with the state was already there, which was a good marriage for all of us. It was about bringing the right group of people together that, although we have probably unique perspectives on the state because we all come from different places, and I'm a hell of a lot older than y'all are, so there's a different from a time standpoint too. Our vision and love for where we are and what we get to interact with is really strong. When you looked at back at 2024, we had some like Phoebe and I were talking earlier, Geo, like, every guest was our favorite guest.
Right?
So it's
Who's their
like,
favorite?
We had fun
like
with
every
every
like
single one of them.
I look back on like every place was my favorite place and every guest was my favorite guest. But do you have any stuff that sticks out to you that was like, hey, this was like, and first maybe we start with like one of the funniest moments to either one of you guys?
Well, I think Geo takes the cake on the funniest moments out on Lake Travis.
Yeah, so I think for me, I think as the show evolved into um, how can we be able to entertain our audience and being able to showcase more of Texas, and we started diving into the places that we went to and started filming that. I think that's one of the things that were really excited me, because then we could go out and travel and see more things and share more about Texas, starting with Fredericksburg and then going into Lake Travis. And I think one of the funniest things, I think one of my favorite episodes was Lake Travis, just because of the scenery, the amount of things that you can do out here in Lake Travis. It's so amazing. Plus, we kind of live here, so I'm a little biased towards that. But we were filming out there, and one of the parts that's pretty funny is uh, I had my drone out, and we were flying the drone, and from on top of I have my goggles on, so I'm seeing through the screen. I'm not seeing around. So as I'm looking through my goggles, I'm trying to find our boat to land our drone back once we're done filming, and I'm starting to land the drone on our boat that I'm thinking. But as soon as I get really close enough to see the faces, I'm like, that is not us. Who's boat am I in? And so I felt lost. I felt confused. And yeah, we were landing on somebody else's boat. And that was really odd. But on the way back, as I was landing on our boat when we finally found it, because of the wind and the rocking of the boat, I was trying to land on top of the boat with my drone. As I'm trying to land on this moving landing, um, I pressed the button a little bit too hard to go forward,
Mhm.
and I hit the back of my head.
Yeah, I think we've got footage of that somewhere.
We do, and
Yeah.
I'll post it on here.
Yeah.
That combination was great.
Unfortunately, I was not filming at the time, so you can't see from my perspective what it looked like, but I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah,
So
it was
yeah,
funny. Oh shit, that's not our boat comment was like, wait, what?
Yeah, we were like,
They're like, what boat are we on? What boat
what
are
do
you
you
on?
mean?
And I
Not
was
our
like, what are
boat.
the people on the boat doing?
Right.
Like, I'm sure they're like, what? Thought somebody was like spying on them or something. But
It's the
yeah.
Chinese.
So that there's several funny things for me. That episode in particular, another piece that was really funny was we went to Hippie Hollow, which is, and if you haven't seen that episode, go back and check it out. But Hippie Hollow is like a nude beach on Lake Travis. And it's a nude park, really. So it's calling it just a nude beach is not accurate because there's like a park, as we found out. So we went in to like shoot a scene, and we were like, all of us were like, okay, we got to get in here and get out here.
Yeah.
Like, we
Don't
got to find
linger.
a spot, and hopefully nothing bad or crazy happens, and we can get some footage we can actually use on the show. And so we had gotten done filming the little shot we need to do, and Geo was like, "I'll be right back. I'm going to walk over here and see if there's anything else to get some shots of." And Phoebe and I were walking the other direction, and as soon as she said this, you came flying around the corner. She's like, whenever we go places, there's always people like hitting on Geo. And she's like, it never fails. And I'm like, oh, and about that time, you came walking around the corner, like speed walking, and right behind you comes old Snuffleupagus with his thing hanging out below his shirt, following you down the cart path.
He was just Winnie the Pooh, and he had on a sweater, no pants.
Yeah, like a short shirt, no pants, no underwear, nothing on. And I was like, we were dying. So we sprinted out there. So I still think back, and that was.
Yeah, I remember seeing him corner of my eye, and I said, "Don't look."
Don't look.
I saw bare legs, and I was like, "Yep, that's
Best to leave
Your new
that one
buddy.
alone.
that's
We didn't get any footage of that, thank God.
No.
So what else was a funny moment for you? Or a memorable one?
Memorable. Oh gosh. I mean, they all have been really special moments. I really enjoyed our time out in Comfort, Texas. I thought that was just the cutest town. It felt like somewhere you could just jump in and call home. Like everybody knew each other's names. It was a really great place to have the Texas spirit. Like everyone was so friendly. Everyone was so willing to tell us the stories of Comfort and the history about it. And it was a really beautiful place. If you haven't been out that way, definitely recommend it. So I think that was probably one of my favorite moments, if I had a favorite.
And that was an accident episode. We weren't planning. That was like,
totally
we were out in Fredericksburg, staying outside of Fredericksburg in that house. And then we went to get coffee that morning. And we were like, oh my gosh, this place is awesome. Turned around and we got a whole episode and met like 5 or 6 really cool business people and got to see that hotel and the history on the town and then the coffee shop market thing was the Comfort Coffee was my favorite. Yeah. That was a good one. Another thing this year, like, so one of my big, like one of the things that brought me back to Texas too was the music. Like I'm a country music junkie, right? And you guys know that, but they may not. But I'm like, I used to lay in bed in Tampa, like wormholing at night, trying to find Texas artists, because we couldn't go see them. They didn't. A lot of them at that time didn't travel out there. And I'm not, as much as I love country music, I'm really like a Texas country music lover. And so I started finding some of these guys before we even moved back. And then as we landed where we ended up landing here in the state, I was like, oh my God, half these guys that I've been listening to for the last 3 or 4 years are here. Like, and then all of a sudden we started getting some of them on the show, like guys that I'd been listening to, like I didn't know who they were. Like I didn't know who they were as far as being here. I knew they were from being on like Apple Tunes or whatever. So like some of my favorite episodes too were just getting to know some of these musicians. They're like, cause there's such a wealth of artistry and music here in the state. Out of the music artist stuff is like, and we had a bunch because we had Aaron, we had Tate, we had Corey, Weldon obviously was on 2 different episodes, and he's become one of our closest friends through this process, and more.
Hayden Redwine.
Hayden. I mean, like I'm probably missing somebody, but what were your thoughts on that? Like, I hate to say it was your favorite because there's not a favorite. We love all of them. Like, they're all great and they're all uniquely special and different and cool. But what sticks out to you out of those episodes?
I think for me, one of the things that really stood out was just getting to know these people. I love to hear their stories. They come from different walks of life, and through music, they've been able to be connected in some sort of way. And adding the tradition of Texas and the culture of it, I think it adds another level of how special Texas is, with the music and everything and the culture that's been around it. So I think it's been very special to get to know each one of those artists, and we're hoping to do some more with them this year.
Yeah. I think too, it's so fun to see, them perform. Number one, obviously that's the most fun part.
Yeah.
But the second part too is every single one of them has been just completely a sweetheart. Like, you hear them in their songwriting and you get kind of a feeling of who they might be, but then you get to talk to them and meet with them, and they're all so kind and sharing of their experiences. Yeah. It's really great to hear their person come through. So it gives you a new respect for their art, and then you go back and listen to their music again and you can really hear it come through. It's like an individual personality.
It's like you get to know them more through the
Yeah.
music after you have met with them. And
yeah, exactly. You know them deeper.
It's much more
now.
special.
Yeah.
Well, we were fortunate with a couple of them. Like, they recorded some videos and stuff with us that like were songs they either typically don't play or hadn't even recorded yet. Like, there was a couple of them that gave us some stuff that was really intimate, with that, just for our show. And that goes back to what you're saying about them, like just being so open and cool. Like, we've become friends with most of them, if not all of them, really. I mean, Aaron played at my birthday party,
Yeah, right.
and we're, like I said, we talk to Weldon all the time. Corey was really cool, just how open he was about his life and his beauty. He's got married not too long, like now, since the show, he got married.
Just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Congrats,
and
Corey.
so, congrats, Corey. And I'm excited about some of the ones that we have coming up for 2025, which we'll talk about. But to your point, like, another thing that was cool about them was each one of them has been so willing to connect us with other artists or other businesses or people that are interesting that would be good for the show. And that's another thing for me this year that was like, you hear about that Texas hospitality, right? But like, when you really experience it, like going out, because we're going in and asking people, can we film you? Can we do this? Can we visit your business? Or do you want to come do an episode on our show? I mean, one, they say yes, but they're not obligated to do anything beyond really anything at all. But they're not obligated to go above and beyond. And when we go into these places, whether it was Fredericksburg or Comfort or out here at Lake Travis, or like I said, even with the artists, like, they've all been like, come over here, meet this person, look at this. Like, I'm going to introduce you to these people, which is, just a testament to, again, what we want to expose with this show. That part you don't get to see on the episodes is how we got to Corey, or how we got to Aaron, or how we got to Comfort, or these places and the people that are within those things. And all of that's been, I'll call it a referral, but it's really been just personal introductions, which has been remarkable in my book, coming in cold, as we did for the first year.
And a great example of that is I think it takes me back, one that really stands out is when we were doing the episode with Weldon, and we mentioned Real L on the episode.
Yeah.
And then Real L said, yeah, let's do it. Let's do a collaboration somehow.
Yeah.
With Brad and them. And then we went out there, we filmed. They showed us a place, amazing place, by the way, that they have over there, at the brewery. And that was a great example of how we didn't even really reach out to them. They were the first ones to make the first contact of, hey, let's collaborate.
Yeah. And that turned into like Weldon playing a gig out there and connecting with Brad. And that's his favorite beer in the whole world. And so he's like, like, it was cascaded into like some different relationships for the people on the show as well. So that part to me is, I don't know, I love the connecting of people and people's stories, and all that is really what I get my buzz off of, and doing it and learning more about them and enabling them to share a part of who they are, what they're doing, or why they're doing it, that they may not normally get to. To your point, Phoebe, like they do it during a song or through a song, but they don't get to tell the whole story or sit down and tell like how they got into this and why they write. And on our episodes, they get the opportunity to really open that book up to their community and talk about some of that and be vulnerable and you let people inside of their creative process a little bit more. So that's pretty neat. Well, I'm trying to think of anything else in 2024 like that was, because like there was so much,
we had what, 17, 18 episodes?
Yeah, I mean, we had the locations. I mean, I go back to like we went to Conroe for some like I thought Conroe was awesome. We met with Arturo, who's a phenomenal entrepreneur out of Houston. Really great guy. Like I had a lot of people email me after his episode about just the business nuggets that they got on his tips, and because he's a very successful entrepreneur, like worldwide entrepreneur who we were able to sit down with over in Houston at a cigar bar and have a great conversation.
He was kind enough to share some of his experiences.
Stuff he charges people for normally.
Right? I was just going to say, completely free.
To do. He was able to sit down and do that. Like that, BE wine. Like we learned a lot about wine this year. We went to two.
Yeah.
We did.
So we went to the Foyt Winery. Like again, like I look back and I'm like, our first winery episode was with AJ Foyt's family. And if you're not familiar with that, go back and watch the episode. I'm going to keep saying that. But, you're talking about the Foyt family, who's, Texas royalty in racing, has a vineyard out here in Fredericksburg. And we got invited on the 4th of July for their party to come do an episode with Larry.
That was like our third episode, too.
That was like our third episode.
What are the chances?
And at the same time, we walked out of there, and he was a TCU grad, and he committed to give TCU people a discount. So I never got anything, thank you cards from TCU. But, that was kind of cool. Like there's just cool stuff like that, being up at BE Wine and Conroe and learning more about how they blend wines and do that stuff. So it was just a really cool, we got the alcohol in this year.
You got to exercise.
I got to work out. The girls fit thing was kick my butt. That was embarrassing. Don't go watch that episode.
Don't watch it.
That was the one Phoebe was like, all I could hear is you going in the microphone.
That would have been me too. It would have been me too.
I was like, maybe not so many cigars in 2025. So it was, but it was fun, right? Like it's just getting out and meeting those cool people.
So going into 2025, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to? Yeah,
so my life's always been driven by one word, more. Like I've had to redirect that at times into being more of a positive type of thing. But so I just want to do more, meet with more people, share more content, create more content with you guys, get more of those stories out there. And I'm already excited, like, just off what we know we're going to be doing so far. Like we're going to be in the oil fields, like out in Midland, dude, like in the middle of all this landman craze with Billy Bob Thornton and Taylor's newest show. We've got an opportunity to go out and do that, and while out there, meet with some music artists that are out that way out in West Texas.
That's right.
That are out doing that stuff, and then
some real cawboys.
We've got a horse ranch we're going to be going out to.
Yep.
We've got some rodeos we're going to be hitting. So another thing we were able to do this year, and like we shoot from the hip a lot. All of us.
We do.
Was we came up with this and or that and for the games for some of our guests to do. And if you hadn't seen one of those, it's literally we give guests these options and they have to pick this and or that, and it's to help us get to know them better personally about what they like, whether it's Wrangler or Levi's or whatever the hell it is. Real Ale or Shiner Bock, Texas
Dallas
beers.
Or Houston.
Dallas or Houston, hands down Dallas and Fort Worth won every time.
Sorry, Houston.
Yeah, sorry, H-Town. But that was fun. And then statistically, one of the things that was one of the more cool things to do was, our vision board has Matthew McConaughey as a guest at some point in time. We want the governor on the show. And so Governor McConaughey, we were able to somehow wrap him in, whether it was via Panelones or green lights or something he was connected to.
A picture in the background.
A picture of me holding him with Stephen Lee into about 85% of our episodes. So
we're just trying
Governor McConaughey, you're on the list. We're going to get you at some point in time on the show, whether you like it or not.
Subliminally.
Yeah.
message Matthew
Yeah,
You're green.
McConaughey.
There's a green light for you to be on our show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll stop whatever we're doing and going out and shoot
Get the
the
governor on.
show.
So yeah, so it'll be some fun to get some more people like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss anything. Like a bunch of like the music artist thing is continuing to just go like truck along. We've already gotten 1 or 2 commitments for the year that are awesome. Like one of the guys we're talking to right now, like literally when I was telling you, one of the ones that I like, that was one of the ones I listened to for probably 5 years before moving here. So it's like a big deal, you know, for me.
Yeah.
Very excited to.
Y'all need to subscribe so y'all can see when those episodes come out.
Like, share, subscribe.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. What about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm super excited about how can we take this to the next level. How can we take the value that we get from all of these guests that we have and the places we visit, and how can we make it more entertaining for the viewers that are watching? How we can really take the content that we make and turn it into something that they can all be a part of, whether you're the guest or whether you're watching, and how we can fuse those things. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and also all the people that we're going to be meeting, and it's a lot of great stuff that we have planned for this year.
Yeah. Definitely.
Your turn. What are your thoughts?
Well,
we'll go around the circle.
Yeah, just going back to the hospitality. I mean, gosh, everyone's been so open and friendly, and I keep waiting to hear, no, I don't want to do that, or no, I don't want to be on the show, and it just hasn't happened yet. I mean, I'm sure it will at some point, but going into 2025, I'm really excited about how many other people we can share their stories and get in front of more people just to show off how amazing the Lone Star Spirit is and all the cool people we get to meet and share that with everybody else. I mean, one of my thoughts going into 2025 is like, we can be somebody else's blessing. You never know, like instead of looking at it from, I'm worried that someone's going to say no, right? Looking at it from, how can we be a blessing to this person, and who can we put them in front of that might, set them on a different path than they thought and get the ball rolling for them. And I think that's really what this show is becoming, is like a huge connection point, not only for us, but for everybody else that we talk to, and how can we, leverage that.
Yeah, I think we're starting to just see the beginnings of that with some of the stuff we've mentioned with Weldon. But I think of like the Texas Music Museum that let us film with Corey there, and that connection that was made for us and for Corey, because he was able to find some information on one of his family members that was passed away but was a music artist. There's some really cool stuff that comes out of that, what we're doing. I think the willingness that we have, which is not driven by money or any of that stuff. It's really driven by exposure and connection, and I think that's a special part of what we're trying to accomplish with the show. I think another person that pops to mind when I think about like community and connecting from 2024 that I think we'll see a lot more of in 2025 was Beth Coffee. Beth is like, Beth was dancing Austin episode, and from an energy standpoint and like just a sweet spirit, that she is like next level, dude. Like, I mean, if I ever was having like a really bad day, I'd want to find Beth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I feel like I would immediately feel better.
She's one of those people that you start talking with and it feels like you've known her for forever, because she just talks to you like a best friend.
And she's a champion for Texas too, right? Like she's one of those people that her mission and her avenue with the mission, well, her mission's very similar to ours. Her avenue's different, but they overlap really well with us. And so it was fun to have her on and do her episode. And I think that'll cross more paths in 2025 as we dig more into just the cultural aspect of the state.
I'm sure you saw the cover of that magazine they just put out.
Yeah,
one of the Austin magazines or something. She's
in the background.
Yeah,
and then you have Beth
on
White Horse, Aaron, Beth, her husband Joe is on there too.
Yeah. They got. I mean, it's all overlaid and intertwined.
Yeah.
And I think that's the power and how everybody here views work. And I think Aaron or somebody said that at one point in time. It's not, they don't view it as a competition. It's a community. And I feel very blessed that a lot of these people from this community have allowed us to dip our toe in and be I'll say part of it. I think we're getting to know people and become part of that community, which to me is just super, super cool. To be around people like that, because I think the world of all of them. I love their talent, but when you look at who they are as human beings, each one of them is pretty remarkable. So hopefully we get to do more and more and more of that in 2025. And get on some horses,
Right.
get out on
Yeah.
some ranches.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to the Hat House. Don't forget about that. We've got a special episode we worked out with Emilio to go back to Double R and revisit those guys and do some cool stuff. And we're gonna do some cross promotion stuff with some people this year. That's gonna be really cool.
Be on the lookout for that. We're gonna have some cool things.
So hey, if there's any place or people that our viewers want us to connect with, leave that in the comments. Connect us to people. We're open to, we want to be all over the state and really talk to people that deserve to be highlighted. They what they're doing in their community, and they don't have to be musicians. They whatever it is they're doing. We've got artists that are coming on the show. They're painting and doing murals and other types of painting. We want to highlight business owners and restaurateurs and everything else that's going on in the state that makes this so great. So I'm excited for 2025.
Yeah, so use this email that I'm putting on right here. Email that if you want to share with us somebody that you want to have on the show.
Yeah, or if there's anybody that you want to see or any piece of Texas culture that you would like to see on the show, definitely let us know. We're always looking for new people to highlight, new stories to share. So
yeah. So one more, I just happened to think of two more that were really cool. And again, one of them I was pre-arrival in Texas stalking, right? Was because I just love. To me, I love the local pieces of this is made in Texas or these are Texas. Was Stephen Lee over at Dufresne Watches?
Oh yeah,
who was
cool.
Yep.
I think that was one of our first episodes too.
One of our first few, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Come on down to the shop," and we had a cool episode. I bought a watch that I wear every day. It was just a cool guy who's a local owned business doing local stuff, Austin guy, and his whole concept is around Texas. And then we finished up the year with Luke Cipriano doing the Crazy Sims family photo shoot
really
episode.
Cool.
But he's the vintage fashion guy that we met down in Round Top, that now is going to lead to us doing a Round Top episode this year and doing some more stuff with the market. So again, it's the snowball effect of just how awesome everybody is. And Luke was like, hell yeah, I'll come out and do, I'll do a collection with you guys to do this crazy shoot you want to do, because I didn't want to do a typical family photo. Nothing against Olin Mills, but I didn't want to, I was like, we're going to do this. Let's do something fun. And we had a blast, man. That was a fun day that I'll never forget with my kids. And it was their first episode to be on the show as well, which was cool. All four of them here.
They looked so cool with their little outfits. I
They did.
thought it was so,
Luke did a great job.
Awesome.
They did great.
Awesome.
Got the Cadillac with the horns on it, from the other guy over here. So I mean, it's just been a really cool year of getting to meet a lot of really cool people here in the state of Texas. And so, like we've mentioned before, we're just looking for all three of us are looking for one. Thank you to everybody who's been a part of the show, everybody who's watched the show, everybody who's shared the show. We ask that you would subscribe, and keep sharing. We're trying to get out and reach more and more people and share more and more content about this great state. And so, we got a big, exciting year coming up. And I think you created a montage or something, right, of the year.
Yeah. So here it is, guys. Y'all enjoy.
Adios.
Adios.